And welcome back to Nobody's Madness. As always, I'm your host, Nobody. So I was going to do an experiment on this episode, or so I said in the last episode, but I forgot there's one more thing that I need to address before we get to that experiment, and that would be energy centers. So I've had several people ask me, once you get used to feeling that energy in your fingertip, once you get used to what your energy feels like, then what do you do with it? And that's what this episode's going to be about. And moving it, expanding it, growing, and then moving it around your body and trying to locate what are often referred to as psychic centers. Chakras represent these centers. The Tree of Life also represents several centers throughout the body. And pretty much every system has a correlation to specific points in the body that are stronger than other points. These are physical focuses to some extent, but also because of the physical focus and the energy from the physical body, it creates an energy body that's more powerful or draws our awareness in or has, I guess you could say, more precedence over other parts, but that's not really true. They're just networked portions and have a greater effect on the other portions. So it's a general focus as opposed to a specific focus. So focusing on your fingertip was a specific area, but let's say we focus on an energy center, in the chest around the heart, that can also lead out into the arms and affect your fingertips. So we have a general conglomeration of points that affect a large area or a large portion of the body, instead of just trying to focus on every little bit of a time one tiny bit at a time. So this allows us to progress faster in our work. So depending on whatever system you work with or you're familiar with, you can work within that system. This is a general guideline and applies to whatever system that you're working with. I just happen to work with chakras primarily, and so that's going to be the main focus. I'm not going to go too much into the chakras. There's ample information out there to get you started, and in the end, none of this is going to be about what you read. This is going to be about what you experience. So you can read about it and get some knowledge versus actually doing the work and experiencing and understanding. And I make a very big distinction between knowledge and understanding, which I'll get into a bit later when I start going over the Tree of Life. I do tend to blend the Tree of Life and the chakras together. That's something that I do. I think they overlay quite well. Some people disagree with that, and that's fine. You do what works for you or what you're comfortable with. So hopefully you've been doing the work and you've gotten used to feeling that energy in your fingertip. And what you should do is start either moving it in that small point or expand it and feel it moving around your arm and into your chest and up and down your body. And this may take some time. It's fine. If it takes you a month to get it to travel up to your elbow, that's okay. You can always start at any point. Now that you've mastered focusing on your finger, you can start at any point. And for a lot of people, the strongest point to focus on is right here. Sometimes a piece of metal, certain stones, a fingertip, other people's fingertips. This is what most people refer to as the third eye, even though it can also be the pineal gland, which is actually in the dead center of the brain. But this seems to be the focal point. When focusing on the pineal, you can get some tingling here, but you usually do get a sensation. A lot of people are very sensitive in that spot, and it's easy to focus there, and also represents one of the energy centers. So it's a good place to start. So instead of focusing on your fingertip, you can start there. Now, when you read about these, you'll get general guidelines as to their location. With that being said, they're general guidelines. So using this energy, so let's say you move it up and you can feel your eyes with the energy, you can feel the energy in your eyes. When you move them to one of these points, it should be substantially stronger than at any other part in your body. And that's when you know that you've located these points, is when you feel an increase in that sensation. And not because you've increased your focus or anything, it's just because you've moved it to a spot that has a greater radiance, we could say, of energy. So this is a very important step because the experiment that I want to do in the next episode involves the energy centers as well as everything else, pretty much everything else that we've learned up to this point or gone over up to this point. So this will be a quick video this time around because it's just going over what to do with that energy and trying to locate those centers, which commonly are here, the third eye, the crown, or above the head. Some people think it's at the head, some feel it's above it, right about here. So you might not have too much luck trying to sense that one right away. Don't worry about that one for now. Just be aware that that's typically one of them, which is the top of our sphere of sensation. So that's like the pivotal point between us and the external world. It's an extension of our physical bodies, this energy body, our radiant energy. So then we usually have the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral plexus, and the root, which is close to the genitals. It's like at the very base. And then there's frequently, some systems have 7. The Tree of Life from Kabbalah has 10 centers. Some have only 4, some have 5. When doing the Kabbalistic middle pillar, you're actually only going to do Malkuth, Yesod, Tifereth, Dath, and Keter, so that ends up being 5. Explore systems, look into whatever you want, but in the end it's going to come down to being able to move that energy, put it into those different places, move it around, and find where it increases. And if most people can recognize them pretty quickly, they notice a change in sensation quite rapidly. So practice moving that energy up and down, down to your feet. Try visualizing it in different colors. There's something called the relaxation ritual that is all about moving that energy. It's just basically envisioning a golden sphere, so you can take it from that little piece. Excuse my dog, she's chasing cats. So you can visualize that energy at your feet as a larger sphere. Start feeling it touching your your big toes. Let it slowly move up your body, relaxing as you go, and just as it moves up, you may be able to have it find those centers as it moves up. So that's it for this episode. Just keep at the work, and hopefully you found them and you can participate in the experiment that I have set up for the next episode. So as always, thanks for watching.